Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, based on wherever you are across the world. Scott Luton and Greg White with you here on Supply Chain Now. Welcome to today's live stream. Gregory, how are we doing?
I'm doing well, and we're going to actually have someone on the show who is spending their evening with us. How about that?
You're right. And
Birthday
there,
Eve.
yes, birthday Eve with us. So on
That's
today's
right.
show, it's a supply chain buzz where we share some of the leading stories across global business, as well as some of the biggest movers and shakers out there making it happen today. We've got two special guests joining us momentarily, as Greg has foreshadowed, Maureen Woolshlager and, and Kim Winter, two of our favorites. We're going to be discussing a variety of topics and initiatives here today, so buckle up and get ready because we want to hear from you as well. All right, Greg, before we dive in, we've got some announcements. We're going to say hello to a few folks, and then we're going to have our guest join us here just in a few minutes. Give me one highlight from your weekend.
Wow. Well, we did. My wife and I did a lot of driving around in the convertible this weekend. So weather was perfect for it. I mean, perfect. Sun was out, temperature not too hot. It was great. That was my highlight, spending the afternoon driving around with her.
Where's the pictures? Pictures, it didn't happen, man.
I know, you're right. Well, she's got pictures. She does have
Okay.
pictures. I'll have her post one.
Okay, wonderful. All right. Well, here in the Luton household, we got our jump start finally. Not necessarily jump start, but we got the garden is in full swing. And our
Okay.
three kids, we've been putting them to work. I bet we did about 30 or maybe 40 20-pound bags, I think it is, of mulch as we look to rework the backyard and landscape, which I know you highly value and covet.
Yeah,
But pictures are coming. Pictures
are
coming.
they good? Good.
All right.
A yard with well-defined like planting beds looks fantastic. Somebody posted on LinkedIn over the weekend their work on their yard, and I thought that looks outstanding. I was thinking, what the heck does that have to do with work? But I mean, it was uplifting. Yeah.
Well, outstanding. Well, green thumbs are also in short supply these days. The shelves are empty when it
Like
comes to
all
green thumbs.
thumbs.
Yes, no kidding. But regardless, let's see here. Let's share a couple of quick announcements. We have a wonderful conversation teed up here today with two of our favorites, Maureen and Kim, will be joining us momentarily. We've also partnered with Maureen and Kim and their respective organizations on the 2022 Supply Chain and Procurement Awards. Is coming up right around the corner, May 18th. You can learn more at supplychainprocurementawards.com or find the link that will drop probably in the comments for the LinkedIn version of the live stream as we announce all the winners. Greg, it's gonna be fun to finally make the reveal, right?
Yeah, it is. And it's going to be thousands and thousands of your closest supply chain colleagues, apparently, because the count of registrants continues up. I hope there's not a cap on the number of registrants we can have for this, Scott. Right?
Seriously, I hope we don't break the internet. But hey, regardless, it's the good news there is we're celebrating global success and we're celebrating, lifting up, supporting, making more aware the nonprofit Hope for Justice's noble mission they're on as they seek to eradicate modern slavery and human trafficking. So join us for that May 18th. Links in the comments. Greg, as we pivot to pay the bills a little bit, May 10th, 12 noon, we're partnering with Six River Systems on a live webinar, how to solve 3 common peak season challenges. Greg, if you had to name one, we'll be speaking about, what do you think?
Lead time is the number one peak season challenge. I mean, it has to be, right? It has been for the last 2 years. Actually, it always has been, but so much so since the seismic societal disruption created by the pandemic. And now with Shanghai, for as much as we talk about reshoring, most everyone is still using China predominantly, and certainly the Far East for sourcing. So as we talk about what's going on in China, man, I'm not sure you can be far enough ahead of the curve, right?
Excellent point. Excellent point. Y'all join us May 10th at 12 noon Eastern time. Free to join. The link's in the comments. Also, newly scheduled live webinar on May 24th. Now, this is cool. This is an opportunity to kind of benchmark how your organization and operation is doing, your warehouse is doing. We're going to be talking about the top 10 competencies that make up best-in-class warehouses. Now, Greg,
Mm.
this is going to be chock full. This probably should be like a, I don't know, 12-hour webinar, but we're going to knock it out in an hour, aren't we?
Wow. That's Scott, that's 6 minutes per thing. Plus you got to take off 2 or 3 minutes on the beginning and end. So it's like 5 minutes per thing. So listen up and listen quick.
Yes. Well, that is as you in usual fashion. That is awesome and on the money instant analysis from the one and only Greg White. However, our approach will be is there's going to be some common competencies, right, that we're going to hit on quick, and then we're going to get to the nitty gritty that really separates best in class from folks that just make it happen. So y'all check that out May 24th with, of course, our dear friends from Shiphawk and a few new ones. May 24th at 12 noon. And let's see here. We're going to share one other event when our guest joins us as we talk leveraging logistics for Ukraine here in just a minute as we bring on Maureen and Kim. Before we do, Greg, let's say hello to just a few folks.
Yeah.
Vincent is tuned in via LinkedIn. He says it's good to join you guys. I hope to learn more from your presentation. Benson, you're in the right place. If you love supply chain, you love giving forward, doing good and making it happen, and you love meeting some of the folks that are doing all those things, you're in the right place. But let us know where you're tuned in from, Benson. We love to connect the dots across the globe, right?
Yeah. Dig that name too. I mean, say that 3 times fast, right?
Right. That is.
I bet he, like a lot of people, gets can you say that again?
That's right. We've got a port name. We're going to be talking about.
Yeah, right.
In a minute,
everyone's going to be asking the question on that one. Right.
Fudd, great to see you once again via LinkedIn. Let us know where you're dialed in from and look forward to your perspective here today. T Squared, lead time and safety stock. I think he's speaking to peak season challenges, Greg.
Yeah. Safety stock, a new concept for manufacturers and brands, apparently.
Seems like it. Greg, great to have Greg back. Try to say that's 10 times fast.
There are always words to trip you up.
Well, I think there's 3 times as many that trip me up than anyone else here, Greg. But Greg, great to have you tuned in once again from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We've enjoyed your perspective on previous live streams, and great to have you back here today. Mike DeWerf, greetings from Birmingham, Alabama, via LinkedIn. Mike, great to have you. And Benson, ask and you shall receive. He's joining from Edinburgh. See?
Yeah.
Time and time again.
Scotland.
Well, Benson, great to have you here today. Okay, so Gregory, are we ready to introduce 2 of our dear friends, 2 of the movers and shakers out there making it happen?
Yeah,
2 of our faves.
See what's going on around the world. Yeah.
Well, hang on. Late breaking announcement. Kavan is tuned in, right? Greg, Kavan, you're getting a demerit from Greg. Did you see that? No, all kidding aside, great to have you as always, Kavan. Okay,
yeah.
Let's welcome in, make a formal introduction here. We want to welcome in Maureen Woolshlager, Director of Business Development, Strategic Accounts with our dear friends at Vector Global Logistics, and Kim Winter, Group Managing Director for the Logistics Executive Group. Hey, Maureen. Hey, Kim. How are we doing today?
Hey, guys. How are you doing?
We are doing wonderful, Maureen.
Yeah, welcome
and
aboard.
Kim, how are you doing?
You're on mute, Kim. It's almost Kim's birthday, everybody. Be patient.
Yeah, right. Cut him some slack. He's at the beach and it's almost his birthday.
Well, salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. And Fad, who was just joining us before, wherever you are in the world, it looks like you may be here with me in the Middle East. So a special day here today, Eid al-Fitr, which is the first day of breaking the feast of the holy month of Ramadan.
Right.
So we're on Eid holiday here as a week off for everybody, all the folks here in the world of Islam right around the world.
Well, I really appreciate you bringing that to our attention. So, Eid Mubarak to you and your family, Kim Winter, and to Fall and all the folks that are celebrating this special day, this special time of year. So thanks so much for bringing that to our attention. And we should say happy pre-birthday to our dear friend Kim Winter. So thanks for joining us on this special day times 2. It seems
just
like
moments away now, right, from your birthday.
In fact, I bet in Dubai they celebrate a ball drop for Kim Winter's birthday. You know, kind of like the Pete's drop in Georgia and some little event in New York City. Kim,
They drop a kiwi is what they drop.
We have the tallest building in the world here. So that would
Right.
only be-
That'd be a long drop.
All right. So now that we've shared a little bit about Kim, Maureen, we love our repeat guests. Of course, you're one of our faves. You appeared on some of our earliest episodes. So what have you and your family been up to in the Raleigh area as we're really been enjoying a beautiful spring in the southeastern U.S.?
It has been beautiful out. We've been trying to spend as much time as we can outside, to be honest. My kids are finishing up some spring sports, so my husband and I are getting that fatigue of taking everybody in different directions every night, and just want to have a couple nights where we don't have to kind of zoom out right around 5:30. But yeah, we've been spending a lot of time outside, and my kids are actually picking up a couple new sports, so we've just been practicing with them. My daughter's picking up golf, and so we're trying to encourage that. We rent a house on a golf course, so it's pretty late in the game for us to try this because we've lived here for a couple of years. But she really likes it. We're just trying to make sure nobody breaks any windows right now, because my son kicked a soccer ball right here in the window right next to where my desk is. So
man, maybe he's going to go on and play for Tottenham. Greg.
Well, you know, he actually plays hockey, and so it's better than a hockey ball. But yeah, we're trying to, you know, focus all the kicking and punting like in the direction away from the house. But yeah, we're trying to spend a lot of time outside. So yeah, enjoy the nice weather.
Awesome. Great. It has been gorgeous. Well, Greg, I'm coming to you for an update on the index in just a second, but really quick. Right. Sylvia Judy is with us, and I think all of us are big fans of Sylvia. No kidding. Stopping in for just a minute, she says, hello, Maureen. And then Quincy, tuned in from Zimbabwe in Africa. Great to have you here with us, Quincy, via LinkedIn. Okay, so Greg, speaking of the Hilton Head, logistics and transportation, global supply chain, doers, movers, and shakers index, whatever else we want to add to that, what is the latest?
Yes, so off of Hilton Head, waiting to enter the port of Savannah, are 7 ships today, 1 oil tanker and 6 freighters. But the big news today, seriously, is outside of Charleston, which if folks have been following the index, even informally, has been up around 28 to 32 ships at various times. Also, only 7 ships waiting outside the port of Charleston. So everyone is making headway, except Shanghai, right, Kim?
Right, Greg. It's a car park up there. It's a car park.
Yeah, it is. That's right. Somebody sent posted something with all of the ships that are waiting and approaching Shanghai and departing Shanghai, which are very few these days. And it is. It looks like. I don't know what it looks like. A bunch of green dots is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Well, challenges abound, undoubtedly. And I want to, but you know, the cool thing, and beyond cool, the real uplifting and inspiring thing is that global supply chain is uniquely suited to do something about some of the greatest challenges that we as a global industry and global business and global community are all working through now. And I want to start with a project initiative, a movement that all 4 of us are very familiar with. And Maureen, we're very grateful for you and Vector Global Logistics and your partnership, but more importantly, your action to do something about all the immense need in Ukraine and beyond. So I want to start with leveraging logistics for Ukraine. This initiative that's probably a couple months old, but you know, it's not just a movement. There's been so much action. We're talking containers already moved, addressing vetted needs with folks that have the right resources. We've had supply chain pros step in and find a way to get it moved. So much going on. But to level set initially, Maureen, what's going on? What is it? And what's some market intel that folks really need to know about?
Yeah, thanks, Scott. A lot of you have been on the call. You know, a lot of people chiming in today. I know Kim's been on a bunch of times, and you guys were. Vector is just hosting a weekly call and getting people from all over the world to participate. So we're getting agents from all over the world, especially like in Europe and Eastern Europe, and we're getting shippers in the US who have product to donate. We're getting representatives from like the embassies and other kind of nonprofit humanitarian aid organizations. And while Vector, we are a forwarder, we're small, so we're trying to sponsor like on our own dime a couple containers a month. The purpose of getting everybody together is really just to do some matchmaking. So we have, for example, like Matter and Performance Health, two very wonderful organizations. One does more nonprofit work. One, you know, the icy hot packs and things you guys buy at Walmart, they're one of our customers. They have like hundreds of pallets of stuff to donate, but they don't know who to get it, how to get it there. I mean, they can call us, but then, as everybody on the call probably knows, you just don't put a container on the water and ship it without anybody receiving it. And how's it going to be distributed and things like that. So what we're trying to do is kind of make connections. We're like trying to be matchmakers of, you have product to donate, you have a need, whether you're an NGO or a nonprofit or a government organization, we can help with the logistics of it. We're partnered with Hapag Lloyd, who's offered to give us containers at cost going from the US to Europe for this initiative, which is great. We've been able to work with Swan and a couple other trucking companies to offer drayage at their cost, specifically for these loads going to Europe and Eastern Europe, and you know, for goods intended for the humanitarian effort. And so basically the point of the call is we've had people from all different walks of life join us. We just are really trying to make connections and help facilitate that. So there's no like, let's say, selfish benefit for Vector there. It's that you have something you want to donate, you have something you need. We can help arrange the logistics, or we can help point you in the direction of somebody who you want to do it. It doesn't have to be us, but really just working towards that, because I think everybody wants to try and help in their own way, but everybody's ways of contributing are different, and so we're just trying to help with that. So go ahead.
So if I can, so Kim, I know you've been supporting the initiative and some other organizations. We're going to give those a shout out in just a second. But for our audience, to make it as simple in this really vastly complex situation, a heartbreaking situation, to make it as simple and to echo what Maureen's sharing, join a focused session, a weekly session. It used to be Wednesday at 3 p.m. We've moved that standing weekly session to Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern time to make it more of a global, make it more convenient for folks across the globe. And join the conversation. Join in to just soak up the conversation. You'll hear people from there in Ukraine, in Poland. You hear folks that Maureen is describing, folks are doing something about it. But whatever it is, join us. And to register, you can use the link in the comments. Maureen, really quick, some of the needs you've already spoken to, and y'all have already been moving several containers across the ocean to address these needs. What are some common items, or maybe what are the most requested items you're seeing?
Most requested items are really medical supplies. Also, there's been a bunch of requests for like protective gear, like helmets or armor. We put some organizations in touch with some suppliers of that sort of material, but if anybody else has some connections that might know of that, or at least kind of at a more like discounted rate, that'd be great. Some dried or shelf-stable food is also a need. The medical supplies is consistently something that comes up. If you think I last read 5 million people have been displaced, and you know there's clinics that are being set up everywhere. There's needs for all sorts of medical supplies, not just X-ray machines or sonogram machines, basic supplies. And then I wrote down that. And then the other things that we're looking for is if you have a donation of a product. We're working with a company, for example, that had water filters that they just started making, and they're really small. You don't have to, if you have product that you want to donate and it's not like an entire container's worth, reach out, because we are consolidating material in Atlanta. With our one of our warehouse partners at Books for Africa has offered their warehouse space for free. They're going to throw in a bunch of children's books when we get a full container, and we're going to cover that. So it doesn't have to be 20 pallets or more. If you just have one pallet of product that you think would work, let me know. You can reach out to us at ukraine@vectorgl.com. As you can see, my name's super long, so I won't make you guess what my email address is. But those are the main things. And then look, if you don't have goods and you don't know a consignee, but you want to help in another way, we're always looking for people to help sponsor some of these shipments, because they are going to organizations that don't necessarily have endless funds. And while the product is donated, there still are shipping costs and other things at origin and destination that we could always use some assistance with. So again, any help is appreciated. So reach out if you have questions, and we'd just love to have you on the call. You don't even have to come on video, and we won't call you out. So
okay,
we're a fun group, but sometimes we max the call at 1 hour for the sake of everyone's time. And I think last week it was like 45 minutes, but sometimes we're trying to close up shop right at 59 minutes, just to make sure those that attend know this isn't going to be, it's not like a working group session all day. So we'd
wonderful.
love to see you guys there.
Come join the community behind the effort for sure. Really quick,
Yeah.
Majidi, welcome in from India via LinkedIn. Hey, the one and only Gene Pledger from Northern Alabama is tuned in via LinkedIn. Byron from Texas, welcome back, Byron. Great to have you here today via LinkedIn. The one and only Greg Lamont Hardy from San Diego, California, and our dear friend Chrissy Porter, part of this movement. She's also adding the link that folks can find the comments to get behind it and join us. Kim Winter, I want to get Greg's take and Kim's take on what Maureen has just shared. Kim, I know you're really familiar with what's been going on. Tell us a little more about your connections there.
Sure. So thanks, Scott, and great kudos to Maureen and Enrique and the team over at Vector for stepping up and stepping out, and actually, as you say, Scott, getting something done. They hold a great coven of people from around the logistics world and throughout the US, Asia, especially Europe, and inside Ukraine in these events. So I encourage everybody to join. We do. And everybody's looking to link up to make something happen along the extended supply chain somewhere. In my case, I was in Europe recently and was just randomly fortuitous to run into some folks from Humanitarian Resource International Foundation, HRIF, run by a legend of logistics in Amsterdam called Max Veenstra. And he's been doing stuff in Ukraine since 1993, but he's running B2B full truckloads, full container loads out of Amsterdam almost daily into Poland. They got their own logistics set up and into Ukraine. So Max Veenstra, and anybody who wants to know any about this stuff, they can join into Vector and this event. I'm always on there, prepared to give details from that. It is a really important outfit in Ireland called Aid from Ireland. A guy called Tommy Byrne that I ran into on LinkedIn, hooked up with them while I was in the UK recently, and they're running less than full containers, less than one truckload into convoys. The last one was 22 trucks out of Ireland, all free of charge, non-for-profit, no fees being charged, all the way into their own containerizations and distribution centers in Ukraine. So pretty incredible stuff. And all these people are just doing it because they're a logistics community. They can help and they are helping.
Yep. Well, hey, it's a beautiful thing, really, in light of the humanitarian and beyond disaster from the Russian aggression. It's a beautiful thing to see these efforts come together. Greg White, I know that we're passionate, and I know you're certainly passionate about giving forward and taking action. Your thoughts?
Yeah, as Maureen and Kim are talking, I'm thinking if there aren't some other things we could slip into some of those containers to help alleviate the situation. But for now, let's focus on saving those who are displaced or are having difficulties. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a really important initiative, and it's not terribly expensive, thanks to Vector and Hapag Lloyd. You and some close friends could put some bucks together and sponsor a container. So it's not overwhelming. A few $100 for a few people, could really change things for folks over there. So don't feel like, we've been talking about $20,000 and $15,000 containers. Those include profit and brokerage fees and all kinds of things. You can sponsor a container for much, much less than that. Thanks again to the folks at Vector and Hapag Lloyd. So, if you can scrounge together a few $1,000 with some friends, you can really, really make a difference.
And honestly, Greg, I think it's even a little bit less than that. Because of the rates from Hapag Lloyd, it's really decent. And to give you guys a little bit of an example, I think the product from Performance Health is about 105 pallets that they're donating, and we're getting those on the water this week or next week. The commercial value of all these pallets is about $450,000. And again, they're donating it. So that impact that they're having kind of when it gets to Poland and Ukraine it's way more than you could ever quantify, but their generous donation is going to help a lot of people. And we're just really thankful to have partners like that are like, we have this, you just need to help us get it and tell us who to send it to. And I wanted to definitely give them a shout out, because that's not a small donation, and not every donation has to be like that. But as an example, there's some really big hearts, and we're happy to have them as partners.
Excellent point. Folks, join in the weekly session again, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Eastern time. You can find the links in the comments, and you won't regret it. You won't regret it. You can find a way, I promise you, to add to the effort in all ways, big and small. Hey, while we're talking about doing good and giving forward and really being the change, Kim Winter, you, Maureen and Enrique and Christy, and y'all all embody this. And I want to give you an opportunity to talk about Oasis Africa. Tell us about the good work this organization is doing.
Hey, thanks, Scott. Look, just a quick grab on this. 2005, we happened to be doing some work in Kenya. Ran into a bunch of kids who didn't have any schooling. They're all orphans, and we just happened to start a school for them. That was 17 years ago. What have we got now? 8,000 kids through the program that we set up. Did in Australia, tax deductibility. We're registering here in the Middle East as well. So we're in and out of there a lot. We've got some big corporate sponsors. Well, never enough, but we've got thousands of people who have been involved with us over the years, and all supply chain logistics community people. We've got kids now graduating from 15, 16 years of the program, who are now graduating with master's degrees in psychology and the like, and support services. Back into the Kibera slum, which is the 5th largest slum in the world, 8 million people in 4 square miles, and helping the other kids out. And this is their initiatives with our support, but they're going in there to do it. So, look, oasisafrica.org.au, oasisafrica.org.au. We'd love to have anybody want to come along and talk to us and help us support what we're doing. And it's a great outcome what we're getting there. Freedom from education, freedom from poverty through education, freedom from poverty through education.
Big impact, over 8,000 kids. So y'all check that out. We've got the link in the comments, but as Kim mentioned, oasisafrica.org.au. Greg, I'm going to get your take on both of these noble missions. But before we do, I've got a special looking back now, a little pre-birthday gift for the one only Kim Winter. So Kim, I got an image here from what I believe was the kickoff of this organization back in 2006. Let's see if I can bring that up. Look at 27-year-old Kim Winter right here. Man, kicking off.
You've been on Google.
Did you ever think on this evening that some 16 years later, your work would have benefited over 8,000 kids in such a meaningful way?
Well, in terms of the team and the team I know that have helped us out, and those three people there, then no doubt I could have imagined it, actually, because I know the people around us are so powerful and they're so hardworking that, I guess it's just one of those providence. But, it's the next out 8,000 now we're up to.
It is remarkable. And again,
Yeah.
Greg White, we've worked long enough to know that me and you both love lifting up people that actually are investing their resources, their time, their money, their elbow grease into helping others across the globe. And these two guests here do just that, right?
It's fascinating to, how you find so many people who are so giving all around the world, right? Of course, we have worked with Enrique for a while, both professionally and in these kind of initiatives. And Maureen has taken the fore on this.
He leads by example. I mean, you got to take that. He sets the stage, the precedent for the company. And I think when you have leadership like that, it definitely, there's a trickle down effect,
Yeah. And likewise, Kim, you with your company, doing the same thing, really trying to impact and change lives. It's inspiring. I mean, it's encouraging, to see people who can make such a huge difference. And what I love about it is they almost always start from almost nothing, just having seen a need and trying to solve that need, and then discovering the greater depth of that need and continuing to expand that initiative. It is really a testament to the fact that you can just start from whatever's in your heart, and the smallest thing you can do, and it will build momentum, right? And if you have the right, willpower, you can get other people into it. You can get the sponsors that Kim, you and Maureen have all gotten into yours as well. So.
Well, I think it's living Scott's motto that we'll hear at the end of the show today, and really, there's a huge bunch of people out there just looking for the opportunity and the lightning rods to be able to contribute. And I'll just put again, Oasis Africa has been thousands of people have been involved in it, and it's a supply chain community that have been right at the front end of that.
Love that, Kim Winter. And so thank you again, Maureen and Kim, for all that you do and all that you've shared. So folks, you have lots. These are just two of the many, many really great noble missions out there that you can find a way to help support. So we can't get, 20 minutes doesn't give any of this enough justice, but for the sake of today's conversation, I want to move forward because I want to get into a couple of topics. The first, Greg and Kim and Maureen, is supply chain risk. We're talking risks in global supply chain. It seems like it's been an hourly conversation going back months now. So PwC has recently released its Digital Trends in Supply Chain survey for 2022. And as our friends at CSA point out here, lots of interesting findings. However, Greg, as we talk about quite a bit, nothing probably too surprising for most supply chain leaders and practitioners. So they interviewed 244 supply chain officers. A couple things here. As expected, most see supplier operational issues as a major or moderate risk. Most find securing raw materials from suppliers as a major or moderate risk. And most also find insufficient diversification of supplier base for critical supplies to be a major or moderate risk. So, Greg, based on your review of the data and this article, what are some of your observations here?
Duh. That's probably my biggest one. I mean, I think, one thing I want to make sure that we do is distinguish between diversification and diversity of supplier. Diversification is something we have always needed and always had the ability to do. Diversity as well, of course. But what they mean when they say diversification is have a plan A and have a plan B, right? Don't solely source from someone in a risky area, or don't solely source from one supplier, one region, one country, whatever. always have a backup plan. I mean, the essence of supply chain is not cost saving, as we have been taught for decades, even in supply chain programs and universities. It's not cost savings. It is to deliver. And it is to do so by, and the only way we can do that is by mitigating all kinds of risks. Some of those risks are costs. Some of those risks are failure in operations. Some of those are blind spots. Some of those are illegal or corrupt activities as well. And so you have to keep your eyes on all of those things in order to be able to deliver. I think to me today, from what I've seen over the last 26 months, the biggest risk that we face in supply chain today is blind spots. Where's my stuff? Can I count on my stuff getting there? Can I count on you to source, produce, or deliver it? Right? The I don't knows in supply chain are what kill us. So we need to have more insight into who can deliver, who's at risk of not delivering, and why. So,
Well said.
I think aside from everything that you read in this survey, you have to take it up a level to recognize that supply chain is not a cost saving exercise; it is a risk balancing exercise.
Yep. The I don't knows will kill you, and that reminds me of my youngest son, Ben. I hear probably about 17 times each weekend day spending time with him. Ask him a question. I don't know, and that's DUNNO.
Right.
So
that's the proper spelling for it.
That's right.
I don't know.
So Kim Winter, I'm gonna get your take first, and Maureen, and we'll have you weigh in. What stood out to you? I know that you and your team are actively, you got your finger on the pulse a number of different ways. What stood out to you?
Yeah, well, thanks, Greg. Thanks, Scott. The two words are glue and what's at the bottom line. So following on from Greg's functional and strategic analysis, what I see with my glasses on is where are the people, what decisions are they making, and why are they doing what they're doing, and what is the problem that they're causing, or why are they doing what they need to do to solve the problem in these very, very dynamic and disrupted times. So just coming back to what you're talking about there, Greg, which is 100%, is behind all of that, we have these massive mega trends taking place at the moment, dominated by a massive shortage of talent. I'm trying not to use the word massive too much, but significant, significant Australian thing. And what we have is this incredible shortage of people being able to be in the right place at the right time to make the decisions to get the freight through and get the supply chain happening in the right place at the right time. So what I'm seeing is behind those stats, and I've read the whole survey and report, is we're seeing enormous resignation, the Great Resignation, which is very prevalent in places like Australia and New Zealand at the moment. It's only a small part of the population of the world, but I'm sure you're getting it in the US. I know it's in the UK as well. So people are leaving for a whole range of reasons. Is it triggered by COVID? And maybe we can talk about that. But a lot of people now want to be consultants, contractors, interim managers. They want to move out of the cities. They want to get out of the offices, originally for health reasons because they were told to get out because of COVID. And now we're seeing this really distributed talent force around the place, and often not enough people actually on the tools, in the workplace, in the warehouses, on the ships, in the aircraft, in the restaurants, servicing people. So what we're seeing is this incredible gap between what's required in the supply chain and what's being supplied. I don't know what you're seeing, Maureen, in terms of, you guys are right in the middle of it. You're running a very diverse logistics organization. Well, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of gaps because of the shortage of talent.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're seeing, one of the, when I was reading this and, you guys were talking, I was kind of going through the article a little bit more. I think like what Greg said about supply chain being about balancing risk, I think, I work with a couple of like my customers, let's say I have a group that just says, you know what, whatever we need to do, let's get it on the water, let's get it shipped, because they remember what happened with COVID, where all your eggs are in one basket. And then, like we said, there's no diversity in where things are coming from. And they were in a pickle, right? Everything's on the other side of the ocean, everything's shut down. And then we were all buying stuff. So there's a lot of, let's say, stockouts. But I do have some customers that have really kind of short-term memory, and they're like, well, I don't know that I want to ship it yet. I think rates are going to keep going down. And I'm like, look, you always have to, let's not forget, I'm hoping there's not another situation like with at the level of COVID, right? But your stuff is all still in the same place, one place. Shanghai is in lockdown. There's all these other things. What kind of curveball is going to come in? And if you haven't chosen to diversify where you're getting your things from or your supply chain by adding some different origins or different metrics, with your customers, I think that there is a huge risk. And I'm talking to a lot of people who are forgetting kind of what happened before, and we're kind of reverting back to our old ways, like the pre-COVID way, instead of looking at, okay, let's diversify where we're getting our stuff from or our lead times, or maybe we want to do things, just kind of thinking a little bit outside the box in terms of how do we move forward and balance that risk. I think Greg's right. You don't study supply chain in the book and learn about risk balance. You learn more about efficiency. Is it specialization or not? And is it cheaper to have one place to get it versus multiple? And I think the risk balancing hasn't quite caught up with the textbooks yet. But I think Greg has a good point, and if anything, the past years has shown us that for sure.
Agreed. And I know we all want it to go back to pre-COVID, and maybe some folks are fooling themselves that it's going to go back, but it's not, folks. I got late breaking news for you. Okay.
Even Scott, even if it does, even if the supply chain stabilizes, everyone knows what supply chain means now. They can't forget that. They can't unknow that. And so we are at the level of recognition in the world that sales and marketing are, and that's forever.
Right.
And think about what happens to companies when their sales don't come through or their ad programs don't work. People get fired. Stocks collapse, right? And supply chain is at that level now. So you can't hide in the shadows anymore. There are no dark spaces in the supply chain anymore.
It is kind of nice to talk to people and their eyes don't glaze over when you're like, I work in supply chain.
Nice.
Before they're
that
like,
is true.
And they just turn away. Like, I don't know how to respond,
Well, the pickle Maureen mentioned that many folks find themselves in is not of the delicious variety. It is of Aunt B's kerosene pickle variety. So just so y'all know, let me share this. A couple quick comments here. Femi, great to have you here today via LinkedIn. Says sourcing materials should be multifaceted, as sourcing is strictly never saving costs, but the efficiency of delivery. Excellent point there. Femi says managing supplier performance should also be critically and regularly and consistently looked into. Kavan says multiple sourcing instead of single sourcing, while ensuring those critical items are reasonably outsourced, as we will compromise the ability of our business to deliver products to our customers. Benson, hey, appreciate your feedback here. Says quite experienced, educative knowledge sharing thoughts about what supply chain is not. So great job here, panel. Michael says we used multi-source internally, also not just from outside suppliers, but within our own warehouse distribution network to make sure we could deliver as promised. And finally, John Perry with a t-shirt-ism, Greg, specialization leads to extinction. How about that? Okay. So much to comment on there, Greg, Maureen, and Kim. But I want to move forward because we've got one more great, really interesting, relevant development to get everybody's take on, and that is what's going on with the palm oil industry. So, Greg, from one of your latest supply chain summaries, of course, we'll get Kim and Maureen to weigh in just a second. Tell us about Indonesia's palm oil export ban and what's going on there.
So, I mean, it may have even changed in the last day, but recently they had to ban exporting palm oil because They couldn't get any supply in their own country. So of the 45.6 million tons of palm oil that Indonesia exports, they themselves consume 16 million tons. So a third of their production. And what was happening was the palm oil companies were sending it overseas because prices were so high. And it's a staple item in Indonesia, right, for recipes and other products there. It's also, this is one of the most destructive products on the entire planet, right? They are burning millions of acres of rainforest to produce more palm oil, just like Brazil is burning millions of acres of rainforest to produce more soybeans and soybean oil. So, it's a product that's had its troubles to begin with. The problem is there aren't any practical options, because palm oil is in everything from cosmetics to ice cream and all kinds of products in between. If you think you're doing good for the environment, don't eat margarine, right? And there are very few alternatives right now, because soybean oil, even though Argentina is the largest producer of soybeans in the entire planet, they have their own internal issues with consumption, and so they have cut back their exports dramatically, so that you can't use that. Olive oil and other oils, sunflower oil, guess what? 80% of all sunflower oil production occurs in Russia or the Ukraine. So there aren't a lot of options. Prices are really very high. Ultimately, I think that palm oil will be it will begin to be exported again. But I couldn't help but think, what a great opportunity to try to wean ourselves from palm oil, right? Use butter, use animal fat, use whatever, and hopefully we can get sunflower back on track. As a kid from Kansas, the sunflower state, I'm a pretty big fan of sunflower oil. And that is by the way, a non-destructive crop and very easy to grow. I can tell you that those things, they just pop up anywhere it's sandy and hot. So there are a lot of options. The point of this article, which I do these kind of commentaries 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but the point of this was, palm oil is a bad thing anyway. Maybe it's a great opportunity for us to start to wean ourselves off of it. I saw in the comments of the discussion that I had, someone suggested that that companies should have recipes that accommodate other types of oils when either price or availability becomes an issue for some of the other oils that they use. I'd love to see us a lot less reliant on soybeans and palm oil, the two most destructive products for helping us offset greenhouse gases, because millions and 5 million acres destroyed to accommodate these crops.
Well, so Maureen, I want to get you and Kim to weigh in here, but really quick, did you know? Because some folks may be unfamiliar with palm oil. And I want to share this from the World Wildlife Fund. So all palm trees, which is kind of what we just shared, these berries, they're native to Africa, but they were brought to Southeast Asia just over 100 years ago as an ornamental tree crop. But get this, now Indonesia and Malaysia make up over 85% of global supply, although there's still 42 other countries that produce palm oil. So when Indonesia, which was the purpose of Greg's discussion here, when they take action, they're major market player there. But Maureen, anything on palm oil, on what Indonesia is doing? Any thoughts here?
I'm going to be honest. I'm not very familiar with palm oil in terms of what I consume that has. I mean, I use a lot of butter and olive oil when I'm cooking. So we don't really use margarine, but I'm sure that there's also environmental aspects to those as well. So,
yep.
But yeah, I was trying to read your article. I don't know if any of the makeup, I'm sure some of it has palm oil in it, but
yes,
I don't ever buy it at the store. as its own bottle. So I don't know if do you guys cook with it normally, or
It's mostly an ingredient in other products.
okay,
Or in biofuels also, by the way.
okay,
It's in about 50% of what you buy. So the two words I've got for you, Scott: orangutans.
Mhm.
Orangutans, as in Obama on the world's greatest national parks on Netflix. Great series.
okay,
Because orangutans almost think this is a palm oil, unfortunately, and processed. So 50%, Maureen, of what you read on packaged foods in any supermarket anywhere in the world has got palm oil in it. So I've been hunting it out for 20 years. The third word, and I'll let it go from here, is get on to natural foods. As Greg was saying, hunt out the natural products, no matter what you're doing, and save yourself, because palm oil will kill you sooner or later.
I'm gonna check out what they look at on the ingredients, because I know we've done a lot of looking in the house on like high fructose corn syrup, but it has like all these different names that are on the ingredients, so you don't necessarily. So I'll look to see what it says.
They'll put vegetable oil. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. So, Greg, Maureen, and Kim diving into palm oil and really quite a situation we find ourselves in. But we're going to find an alternative. But Greg, to what you put in your summary, you'll get and I can't quote you. I'm sure you'll correct me if I get it wrong. But we'll get manufacturers' attention when it impacts the top line and the bottom line. Is that right?
Right. That's
okay.
right.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, we have to be more aware, and we have to stop doing it. Indonesia is not going to. I mean, this is one of the worst run, most pollutive and destructive countries on the entire planet. Right? Something like some huge percentage of all plastics in the ocean come from Indonesia as well. By the way, they maybe don't have any choice, but nonetheless, they are one of the most destructive nations on the planet, and they are not going to do anything about it while there's a business for it. And to the point that Michael Averitt made, when they moved those plants from Africa to Indonesia, they actually grew better in Indonesia than they did in Africa, just like kudzu, when they brought kudzu from China to the southeast of the United States to alleviate erosion. It grew 10 times as fast in the South as it did in China. You can literally watch kudzu grow. I've done it. I'm definitely afraid.
Someone actually just commented about kudzu.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
T Squared says the new abnormal in supply chain management is further cemented. BAU and SCM never really existed, but the pandemic underscored the point. BAU. Acronym BAU. That's not striking me this morning. T Squared, fill us in. Okay, and we also got something from Moses, but I'm gonna leave that there. It looks like we got some miracle medicines out there. All right, so Greg, Maureen, and Winter.
Business as usual. Business as usual.
Okay, gotcha. Business as usual. It's a great call out, Maureen. And by the way, Chrissy says search for clean bath and body products as well as skincare, and rule out products that use palm oil and other harmful ingredients. She's got a link there, so y'all check that out. We've got just a couple of quick minutes here. This always goes by fast. I really enjoyed the front end of the conversation, focused on Oasis Africa and certainly leveraging logistics for Ukraine. Thank y'all both for you and your respective teams for what you're doing. We're proud to support it. You give from what you have, and certainly one of the things we like to do is try to give it as much visibility amongst our global ecosystem as we can. Really quick, as we wrap, Maureen, how can folks connect with you and again get plugged into what Vector's doing?
You can go to vectorgl.com, go to our website, and you can find our tab about Ukraine. You can sign up for our live stream each week through there. You can find me on LinkedIn. I don't think I'm private, but I'm not like a public figure, so you have to request to find me. And then if you want to reach out to me over email and you kind of fumble with my email address, just try me at Ukraine@vectorgl.com, because there's only 3 of us on that email distro, and I'm one of them. So would love to hear from you. Even if it's not about Ukraine, definitely reach out, and I'll put you in touch with the right person if it's not me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Maureen.
Yeah,
and you bet. Always a pleasure. And then Kim Winter, Beyond Oasis Africa, of course, logistics executive. How can folks connect with you?
Yes, sir. So, Kim Winter, KIMWINTR, LinkedIn. We love LinkedIn. Big part of our executive search business and also our consulting business. So, Kim Winter on LinkedIn or Logistics Executive Group on LinkedIn, Logistics Executive Group, or Logistics Executive, the hub of your supply chain. So all on LinkedIn, and Kim Winter or Kim W at logisticsexecutive.com. And you can get me anytime, day or night. As you can see, here we are in the middle of the night.
Just not tomorrow.
That's right.
It's his birthday. That's all, right, Kim?
Celebrating Eid with a celebratory shirt.
Yeah.
2 kilometers from the world's 11th largest port, Jebel Ali. Right? Scott, Jebel Ali Port, DP World.
Yes, thank you, Kim. That is a word. Hey, there's only about 18,000 words that give me a hard time. That's certainly one of them. But really appreciate and admire what both of you and your organizations are doing. Kindred spirits is certainly how we've gotten through, and camaraderie and taking action and helping others. How we've gotten through to the last few years. And again, y'all really epitomize that. And always a pleasure to reconnect with y'all. All right, so Greg. Right here at the end, folks know now how to connect with Maureen and Kim and get involved. We of course encourage people to take action, do something, right?
Right.
But your final thought here before I sign off.
I think what we've discovered is it's really easy to get started. And if you can't do something, if you can't start an initiative like Maureen and her team and Kim and his team have done, find one that motivates you and participate in it. One of the biggest challenges is everybody wants to have their own initiative, but we don't, in many cases, need a new initiative. There are plenty of initiatives that you can contribute to and make things happen. And it's a lot less work, and it's still every bit as satisfying because people like Kim and Enrique and Maureen, they keep you informed of how your funds are being used, and you can count on them to do the right thing.
Well said. Yeah, 100%. As Jeff Rancor says about 17 times in each Braves telecast, 100%.
Honeybee. Yeah,
that's right. Love Jeff. All right. So big thanks, Maureen Woolshlager with Vector Global Logistics. Big thanks to Kim Winter with the Logistics Executive Group. Always a pleasure. 2 dear friends. Greg, love having these conversations with you. Big thanks to Chantel, Amanda, and Catherine behind the scenes, helping to make today's production happen. But folks, whatever you do, and thanks so much for showing up in the comments. No, we couldn't get everybody's comment, but thank you. Appreciate all what everyone shared. Scott Luton challenging you to, hey, be like Maureen and Kim Winter. Do good, give forward, and be the change that's needed. And on that note, we see you next time right back here on Supply Chain Now. Thanks, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Eid Mubarak.